Hey, this is James, fitness and sports instructor with PSP Kingston with another workout of the day. Just a quick reminder, if you do think you get injured during this session or any other sessions, just make sure you get it checked out with a medical professional. And if you are a CAF member, just make sure you fill out ACF 98. So for today's body weight session, it's going to be 3 rounds for time, and we're going to be working with some relative rep ranges. And these relative rep ranges are going to be based off of your repetition max. So it is pertinent with this session here that you have an idea of your repetition max, the maximum number of reps you're able to do for the particular exercises. Namely, the exercises we're going to be looking at today are push-up and the alternate pull-ups, and the alternate for the pull-up exercise would be to do a single arm row. So you'd also have to know your repetition max with a certain weight on the single arm row exercise. So the way the session is going to break down is 3 rounds for time. So with those 3 rounds, we're going to start off with our pull-up exercise. The relative number that we're working with is 25% of your repetition max. Now you might have to round up or down depending on the number that you're looking at. So let's say your repetition max on the pull-up is 10 reps. You're going to have to round up or down to either 2 or 3. So you're going to have to kind of see how that goes. You might just kind of start at 3 and work your way down to 2. The way we're going to run that, 25% of the max set for your reps. We're going to do 5 sets, but with a very short 15 to 30 second rest between those sets. So just little mini sets that we're going to string together for 5 sets. After that, you're going to take a 1 to 2 minute break, and you're going to move into air squat. Air squat's going to be for 50 reps. If that 50 rep number seems really daunting, the alternate to that would be to perform just a 1 minute max out on your air squat for as many reps as you can. Another 1 to 2 minute break, and then we're moving on to our push-ups. Same thing, 25% of your max set on the push-ups. So let's say your max is 20 reps. At that point, you're going to be doing sets of 4 to 5 reps for those roughly 25% max sets. And again, you're going to do 5 sets with that little 15 to 30 second break in between each one of those mini sets to string those together. Again, another 1 to 2 minute break, and then moving again to that air squat, either 50 reps or again, that 1 minute max out for as many reps as you can if you're not sure if you're going to be able to hit that 50 rep mark on the air squat. So what we're looking at here is just some little bit of an easier stimulus, a little bit less of the localized fatigue and a little bit more in terms of like structural. So when you're moving through those sets, try and keep that movement quality really high on the pull-ups, the push-ups, or if you do that alternate with the single arm row. And take that little bit of a short break just to kind of give the tissue and the muscles just a little bit of a break, and then you kind of move through and accumulate that volume with those 5 mini sets. So again, you do your 5 mini sets of your pull-ups, your air squats, 5 mini sets of your push-ups, air squats, and you're going to cycle through that for 3 total rounds. It's 3 rounds for time, but you also want to keep the quality high, so you don't have to really push the pace too hard, but you're just trying to keep the rest to a bit of a minimum. So we're going to run through a couple quick demonstrations. So we'll take them through in order. So our first exercise, pull-up. So just a quick demo over here of our pull-up exercise. So a couple things with the pull-up or chin-up. So you can go pull-up or you can go chin-up under hand grip. Either is fine. With the pull-ups, key thing is try and focus less on trying to bring your chin up to the bar and more focus on trying to drive your elbows back and down, squeezing through kind of like the armpit area. This is going to help to engage a little bit more upper back rather than kind of pulling through the arms and the hands. Another thing too with the pull-up that is very pertinent is just to make sure that you're keeping your midline nice and engaged, and that'll keep you from swinging. Legs can be straight or bent. So with the pull-up or chin-up, you might have to get a little bit creative. Perfect setup here with a nice wall-mounted pull-up bar. Not a lot of people are going to have that at home or wherever you are doing your exercises right now. So some alternative options would be like if you have a sturdy door frame, if you have some sort of outdoor children's equipment that you might be able to hang off of. You might just have to get, like I said, a little bit creative with that if you want to shoot for that pull-up or chin-up option. Just before you do those sets, though, just make sure that whatever you're on is nice and sturdy and solid. Now, our alternative for the pull-up or chin-up. So there'd be 2 reasons. One, if the pull-up or chin-ups are just too hard. Namely, with this particular session here, you'd want to be able to do at least 5 solid reps on your pull-ups or chin-ups to be able to get something meaningful out of the stimulus for this session here. So if you're not good at those 5 reps, you can do the alternate. The other reason for the alternate would be if you just really don't have anywhere or any setup to be able to do the pull-ups or chin-ups, we'll switch to that alternate exercise, which is going to be single arm row. So again, perfect setup with the sandbag, but similar to the sandbag, if you've seen any other videos, an 18-liter jug of water actually weighs 45 pounds. It's a great option if it's got a nice solid handle on it. You could also pretend that this guy here is a little duffel bag filled with sand, rice, something where you're able to get a significant load. So it would be good to check the weight on it, just so you have an idea of like what you are lifting. And again, because this one's based on a rep max, if you're doing the single arm row, you want to be able to know what weight you are using for that exercise and then what your rep max is, and then pare down from there. So just in this position here, keep the tall spine, arm extended, and then just drive the elbow up and back, squeezing that shoulder blade. Keep the chest up, switching to the other side. So that's our single arm row. Again, with the single arm row, just make sure you know what weight you're using and make sure that it's heavy enough that you're not going over, I would say 30 reps as a rep max. If you're way over the 30 reps, try and find something a little bit heavier or add weight to whatever you're doing. So 30 reps would be the absolute max that you want to use as your relative marker for your rep max for your 25% sets. Next exercise on our progression down here, which we're going to hit twice on each of those rounds, is our air squat. Really quick demo on the air squat from the side. So just a couple things on the air squat. As you can see from the demo, feet roughly shoulder or hip width apart. You're going to have to see what's comfortable for you on that exercise. Most people will find a little bit of a toe out position is usually a little bit more comfortable for hip alignment, but if you find that you're okay with toes straight, go for that. Keep that chest up, spine nice, long and tall, and driving off the heel or midfoot portion as you go to extend. Try not to get too far up on your toes as you push through. The other thing too with the air squat is a lot of times you hear the cue of push the hips back, but if you push the hips back too much, you kind of end up in this position here, really bent forward. That's not ideal. So it's hips and knees at the same time. So as you're pushing your hips back, also bending the knees, this will help you drop down rather than too far back. So our last movement here, we have the push-up. So push-up, we'll just do a quick demonstration. Take it from the side. And then just a little bit of an angle here. So a couple things with push-up. So hand position should be just outside of shoulder width for most people, but kind of play around and find that position. Key thing here, keep those elbows tucked in, don't let them splay out too far. Much better for your shoulder health. Again, with this one here, because we are working with like a relative number off of your repetition max, if you're not able to at least get around 10 reps on those push-ups, I would probably suggest, just for getting the right kind of stimulus from this session, would be to elevate your hands to a step or something of that sort. So we use a sandbag here, just a quick demo. But again, you can see elevated hand position creates a little bit of a more inclined angle, and that's just going to take a little bit of weight off and make it a little bit easier. So just a step, a chair, a table, something of that sort to bring yourself up to the elevated position. Find your rep max at that position and then use that number for those 25% sets. So again, we got this 3 rounds for time. If you want to take a look again or like another little bit more detailed of a breakdown, just look below in the description section, breaking down the whole session as you go through. And again, give us a like, follow on all of our social media channels. We have Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube is where you're going to find all of the full videos and the library of all the past videos that you can look through as well. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns at any point in time, feel free to let us know in the comments on any of those social media channels. And again, follow along for the progressions as we go through.
PSP Kingston, the health and wellness provider for the military community.